My wife insisted on an open marriage, but the rules only applied to her. I said, "That seems fair." She stopped thinking it was fair when my divorce lawyer used her signed and dated rules of the open marriage document as evidence of adultery. Original post. I, 38 male, am sitting in my home office, looking at a laminated document my wife created 6 months ago. Rules for our open marriage, typed up, signed and dated by her. She insisted I frame it, said it would be liberating for our relationship. My wife Rebecca, 36, and I have been married for 11 years. 2 kids, son 9 and daughter 7. I thought we had a decent marriage. Not perfect, but solid. I work in logistics management, she's a real estate agent. Combined income around $165 annually. About 8 months ago, Rebecca started hanging out with new friends from her CrossFit gym. Suddenly she's reading books about ethical non-monogamy and listening to podcasts about relationship anarchy. Every dinner conversation became about how monogamy is outdated and unnatural. I wasn't interested. Call me old-fashioned, but I married one woman. That was the deal. Then came the ultimatum 6 months ago. Rebecca sat me down with a PowerPoint presentation. Yes, a whole PowerPoint about why we needed an open marriage. Her main points. She felt trapped by monogamy. She needed to explore her authentic self. It would make our marriage stronger. She'd already discussed it with her therapist, who supported her journey. "I need this, Daniel," she said. "I've already sacrificed so much of myself for this family." I asked the obvious question. "So we both can see other people?" Her face changed. "Well, I don't think you're ready for that kind of emotional complexity. You're not as evolved in your thinking. Maybe eventually, but for now, it should just be me exploring." I actually laughed. "So you want permission to cheat?" "It's not cheating if we agree to it. God, you're so closed-minded. This is why I need this. You don't understand me anymore." She cried. Said I was suffocating her. Threatened that without this, she couldn't guarantee our marriage would survive. Even mentioned that her lawyer friend Stephanie said she'd get primary custody if we divorced because she's the more involved parent. I was floored. But I also knew Rebecca. When she wants something, she bulldozes until she gets it. And I was tired, so tired of fighting. "Fine," I said. "But if we're doing this, I want rules written down, official." Her face lit up. "Yes, of course, I'll draft something tonight." She spent 3 days creating her rules for our open marriage document. Some highlights. 1. Rebecca has freedom to explore connections with others. 2. Daniel will remain monogamous until Rebecca determines he's emotionally ready. 3. Rebecca's activities are private and not to be questioned. Daniel continues all household and financial responsibilities. 5. This arrangement is confidential. No discussing with family friends. 6. Rebecca requires 2 nights per week for self-exploration. 7. Daniel provides childcare during Rebecca's personal time. 8. Joinances continue to support Rebecca's journey, new clothes, gym membership, etc. She actually printed it on fancy paper. Had us both sign and date it. September 15th, 2024. "This is the beginning of something beautiful," she said, kissing me. "It was the beginning of something, all right?" The first month, she was gone Tuesday and Thursday nights, book club, and wine with the girls. I watched the kids, made dinners, helped with homework. She'd come home at 2 a.m., shower immediately, and slip into bed smelling like cologne that wasn't mine. By month 2, she wasn't even trying to hide it. Left her phone unlocked one morning, and I saw texts from Jake with photos I won't describe here. When confronted, she waved the document at me. "You agreed to this. No questions, remember?" Month 3, she started taking weekend trips, told the kids she was at work conferences, charged the hotel rooms to our joint credit card. When I protested, she quoted rule number 8 about finances supporting her journey. Month 4, she got sloppy. Our neighbor mentioned seeing a man leaving our house during my work hours. Our house. In our bed. When I confronted her, she said I was being possessive and toxic. Last month, I'd had enough. Started documenting everything. Screenshots of her social media. She forgot I follow her on Instagram from my old account. Credit card statements. Text records from our phone plan. Also started recording our conversations, legal in my state. 2 weeks ago, I hired a divorce attorney. Gave him everything, including the laminated rules document. He actually laughed. She put in writing that she wanted an open marriage only for herself, that you'd maintain all responsibilities, and she signed it? This is the most clear-cut case of adultery I've seen in 20 years. Filed for divorce yesterday on grounds of adultery. In my state, proven adultery affects alimony and asset division. Her signed document is evidence she can't dispute. Rebecca was served at her gym this morning. She called me 67 times in an hour. Finally answered, "What the hell is this?" Divorce papers. You agreed to the open marriage. I agreed under duress. You threatened me with custody battles. Besides, your own document proves the marriage was only open for you. That's just adultery with extra steps. You can't use that document against me. It was private. You made me sign it. It's a legal document now. She hung up. 20 minutes later, Stephanie, the lawyer friend, called. You're making a huge mistake. No judge will side with you. We'll see. Currently sitting here, bourbon in hand, kids at my mom's for the night, finally feeling something other than exhaustion. This is going to get ugly. Update 1. 3 days later. The entitlement has reached astronomical levels. Rebecca came home the day after being served. She'd been staying at Jake's and acted like nothing happened. Started making dinner, asking kids about school, completely ignoring the divorce papers on the counter. We need to talk about custody arrangements, I said. There's nothing to discuss. You're not actually going through with this silly divorce threat. It's not a threat. We have a court date. She laughed. Actually laughed. Daniel, you won't divorce me. You don't have the spine for it. Plus, I'll take you for everything. The house, the kids, alimony. Stephanie says, Stephanie's not a divorce attorney. She does corporate law. Law is law. No, it's really not. That night she tried to seduce me. Came to bed in lingerie I'd never seen before, probably bought for Jake. When I moved to sleep on the couch, she got angry. This is still my house too. You can't reject me. Per your rules, I'm not emotionally ready for that kind of complexity. She threw a lamp. I recorded the whole thing on my phone. Day 2, she switched to tears. Sobbed about how I was destroying our family and traumatizing the children. Said she'd go to therapy, close the marriage, whatever I wanted. I want a divorce. That's not what you want. You're just hurt. We can work through this. Then came the social media campaign. Posted on Facebook about how her controlling husband was punishing her for being a modern woman. Her CrossFit friends rallied behind her. Comments about toxic masculinity, emotional abuse, gaslighting. One particularly brilliant friend wrote he probably drove her to seek comfort elsewhere with his insecurity. My lawyer told me not to respond online. Instead, we screenshot everything for court. But here's where it gets really good. Jake, the gym boyfriend? Yeah, he's married too. His wife Elena reached out to me yesterday. Rebecca apparently told Jake I was fully on board with everything. Elena found out when she saw Rebecca's Facebook posts about our divorce. My husband is leaving me for your wife. Did you know? I knew she was seeing someone. Didn't know he was married. She told him you had an open marriage? One-sided open. I have the document she made me sign. Can you send it to me? My lawyer cleared it, sent her a copy. Elena called back an hour later, laughing through tears. This delusional woman put in writing that only she could cheat, and made you sign it? Yep. Jake told me you were polyamorous too, that you had girlfriends, that Rebecca was so evolved and understanding. I haven't touched another woman since I married Rebecca. I'm taking Jake for everything. Want to coordinate lawyers? Absolutely. Last night, Rebecca got a call from Jake. I could hear her side of the conversation. What do you mean Elena knows? I never said that. Of course Daniel was okay with it. We had an agreement. You're married? That's different. Don't you dare ghost me. She threw her phone against the wall, then turned to me. You told Jake's wife? You ruined my relationship? Your relationship? He was married. You were married. What relationship? We were in love. For 5 months? You wouldn't understand. You're emotionally stunted. She packed a bag and left for her sister's, but not before sending one last text. You're going to regret this. I'm getting the house, the kids, and you'll be paying me for years. Stephanie already has a plan. Update 2. 1 week later. Rebecca's plan has spectacularly backfired. First, she hired Stephanie as her divorce attorney. Remember, Stephanie does corporate law. She's never handled a divorce in her life, but Rebecca insisted because she's a woman and she gets it. Their first filing was something. They tried to claim I was financially abusive because I restricted Rebecca's access to marital funds. My lawyer responded with credit card statements showing she'd spent $8,000 in the last 5 months on hotels, dinners, and gifts. All from our joint account, all for her journey. Then they claimed emotional abuse because I isolated Rebecca from her support system. My lawyer submitted Rebecca's own signed rules stating that I wasn't allowed to discuss the arrangement with family or friends. But the crown jewel was when they tried to claim the open marriage agreement was signed under duress by Rebecca. Yes, the document she created, she typed up, and she insisted I sign. They're saying I forced her to write it. The judge's face during the preliminary hearing was priceless. "Mrs. Morrison, did you create this document?" "He manipulated me into it." "Did you type it?" "Yes, but did you sign it?" "Under emotional distress." "It's dated 3 days after you first proposed it. You had 3 days of emotional distress while typing?" Stephanie tried to interject. "Your Honor, my client was in a vulnerable state." "Counselor, are you familiar with family law in this state?" "I've been practicing law for 8 years." "Judge, that wasn't my question." Meanwhile, Alina, Jake's wife, and I have been sharing information. Turns out Jake and Rebecca had plans to move in together. They'd been looking at apartments, using Jake and Alina's savings for deposits. Alina found emails where Rebecca called me pathetic and a wallet with no spine. But here's the kicker. Jake ghosted Rebecca after Alina filed for divorce, completely blocked her, moved back in with his parents. Rebecca has been losing her mind. She showed up at my work on Wednesday. Security had to escort her out after she screamed in the lobby that I was a manipulative sociopath who destroyed true love. My boss called me in after. I explained him the documents. "Boss, so she wanted to cheat, but only her?" "Yep." "And she put it in writing?" "Yep." "That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard." "Yep." "Take the rest of the week off. You need it." Thursday, Rebecca tried a new approach. Had her mom, Patricia, call me. "Patricia. Daniel, sweetie, Rebecca is devastated. Can't you forgive her?" "Me. She's been sleeping with a married man for 5 months. She said you agreed to it." "I agreed under threat of losing my kids." "She would never." I sent Patricia the recording of Rebecca threatening me with custody, plus her signed rules, plus screenshots of her texts with Jake. Patricia called back an hour later. "I didn't raise her to be this way." "I know, Patricia. I'm so sorry." "Me too." Rebecca found out her mom sided with me and went nuclear. Posted on Facebook that her entire family has been brainwashed by her abusive ex, that her own mother was a victim of internalized misogyny. Her sister commented, "Rebecca, you literally cheated, in writing. Stop." Rebecca blocked her entire family. Update 3. 2 weeks later, the temporary orders hearing was yesterday. Rebecca showed up dressed like she was going to a funeral, probably for dramatic effect. Stephanie wore a suit that screamed, "I Googled divorce court outfit this morning." My lawyer presented our case. The signed, open marriage agreement, credit card statements showing thousands spent on her affair, text messages between Rebecca and Jake, social media posts where she admitted to the relationship, the recording of her threatening custody. If I didn't agree. Stephanie's counter was essentially, "But she's a woman exploring her sexuality. This is discrimination." The judge looked tired. "Judge, Miss Stephanie, are you arguing that adultery doesn't apply if someone is exploring?" Stephanie, in modern relationships, this is a legal proceeding, not a philosophy class. Your client admitted, in writing, to adultery. Then came custody discussion. Rebecca demanded primary custody because she's been the primary caregiver. My lawyer, Mr. Morrison, has been sole caregiver every Tuesday and Thursday for 6 months, plus weekends when Mrs. Morrison was on trips. We have daycare records showing Mr. Morrison did all drop-offs and pickups during this period. Rebecca whispered furiously to Stephanie, who stood up. Those were temporary arrangements. Judge, temporary arrangements that lasted half a year? The temporary orders. 50-50 custody. I keep the house, I pay the mortgage from my salary anyway. Rebecca gets her car and personal belongings, joint accounts frozen except for child expenses, no alimony to either party during proceedings. Rebecca lost it, started crying in court about how she gave up her career for the family. Mrs. Morrison, you're currently employed as a real estate agent? Part-time. Your license shows full-time status. Your website advertises 24/7 availability. That's different. Judge, how? No answer. After court, Stephanie cornered my lawyer in the parking lot. This isn't over. We're filing appeals. My lawyer. On what grounds? Discrimination, sexism, emotional abuse. My lawyer. Good luck with that. But the real entertainment came that evening. Rebecca called from her sisters. Apparently they made up. I'm pregnant. My stomach dropped, then my brain kicked in. Whose? Yours, obviously. Rebecca, we haven't had sex in 4 months. It happened before then. You're claiming to be 4 months pregnant with no signs while posting gym selfies with abs last week? Click. She called back an hour later. Okay, it's Jake's, but you should raise it for the family. Absolutely not. You're abandoning a child. Not my child. You're so selfish. Goodbye, Rebecca. Forwarded that recording to my lawyer too. He says it's gold for court. Update 4. 3 weeks later. Jake's wife Elena has become my unexpected ally in this circus. We meet for coffee weekly to compare notes and laugh-cry about the absurdity. Elena discovered that Jake and Rebecca had created a joint Pinterest board called Our Future Home, where they planned their life together, including a section on blending families with tips on introducing kids to new partners. They'd been together 5 months, but here's the twist. Rebecca's pregnancy claim? Complete lie. Jake had a vasectomy 3 years ago. Elena has the medical records. When Rebecca kept insisting she was pregnant with Jake's baby, Elena sent her the documentation. Rebecca's response? Vasectomies can reverse themselves. That's not how that works. You don't know our love. Meanwhile, Stephanie has been making rookie mistakes left and right. She filed motions in the wrong court, missed 3 deadlines, and accidentally sent my lawyer an email meant for Rebecca that said, "We need to hide the Craig situation." Who's Craig? Great question. Turns out Rebecca's been seeing another guy for the last month. Craig from her office. A 26-year-old junior agent who thinks Rebecca is a goddess trapped in a loveless marriage. She's been telling Craig that I'm abusive, that I forced her into an open marriage she didn't want, and that Jake took advantage of her vulnerability. Craig believes every word and has been posting Instagram stories about protecting his queen from toxic men. My kid saw one of the posts. He tagged Rebecca and asked why mom's friend was calling me toxic. Had to have a very careful conversation about how sometimes adults disagree and say mean things they don't really mean. Son, but you're not toxic, Dad. You make the best pancakes. Daughter, and you let us stay up late for movies. Is Mom dating that muscle man? Mom and I are figuring things out. Daughter, is that why she cries all the time now? That hurt to hear. Last Thursday, Rebecca attempted another power move. She showed up at parent-teacher conferences with Craig, introduced him as her partner to our kids' teachers. The teachers, who all know me well, were obviously uncomfortable. My son's teacher pulled me aside later. Daniel, I don't mean to pry, but your son was very upset. He said the strange man tried to high-five him and called himself bonus dad. I added it to the custody documentation. Friday night, Rebecca dropped the kids off and tried to have a family meeting, with Craig present. Me, absolutely not. The children need to see we can all get along. Yeah, man, we're all adults here. Craig, you're 26 and sleeping with my still married wife. Please leave my property. You can't tell me what to do. It's my house. Leave or I call the police. You're traumatizing the children. Me, you brought your affair partner to my home. Leave. They left, but Craig made sure to peel out in his leased BMW that Rebecca probably told him was fully paid off. Final update. The divorce was finalized last week, 2 days before Christmas. What a gift, right? The final hearing was something else. Stephanie had been replaced by an actual divorce attorney. Rebecca's dad paid for it after Patricia begged him. This new lawyer, Mr. Daniels, was competent but had an impossible case. They tried one last Hail Mary, claiming the open marriage document was satirical and not meant to be taken seriously. The judge actually laughed. Judge satirical, with rules about household duties and financial obligations? Mr. Daniels. My client has a unique sense of humor. Apparently. The final decree, custody, 50-50, with me having primary residency since I kept the house. House, mine, since I've paid 80% of the mortgage from my salary. Assets, split retirement accounts, she keeps her car, I keep mine. Debts, she's responsible for the $8,000 credit card debt from her journey. Alimony, none. The adultery documentation was overwhelming. Child support, standard calculation based on our incomes. Rebecca was devastated. She genuinely believed she'd get the house, primary custody, and alimony. The entitlement was staggering. Outside the courthouse. You've ruined my life. You did that yourself. Jake won't even talk to me. His divorce isn't final yet. Craig thinks I'm too much drama. Smart kid. I have nothing. You have your freedom to explore. That's what you wanted. She started crying. For a moment I felt bad. Then I remembered the nights I stayed up with crying kids, asking where mommy was. The humiliation of neighbors seeing strange men leave my house. The gaslighting, the threats, the utter disrespect. Goodbye, Rebecca. It's been a week since the divorce was finalized. The kids are adjusting. They'll be with Rebecca for Christmas Eve and me for Christmas Day. Rebecca moved in with a roommate she found on Craigslist, posted on Facebook about starting fresh and rising from the ashes. The comments were less supportive than before. Turns out, Craig told people at their office about the whole situation. Her reputation as a real estate agent has taken a hit. Jake? Still fighting his divorce. Elena says he's been begging for reconciliation. She's not having it. We're having coffee next week to celebrate our freedom. Stephanie? Still doing corporate law, but she deleted all her social media after our case became gossip fodder in local legal circles. Patricia, Rebecca's mom, sent me a Christmas card with a note. You'll always be family. The kids are lucky to have you. My lawyer framed a copy of Rebecca's rules for our open marriage document for his office. Says it's a teaching tool for new associates about the importance of documentation. And me? I'm sitting here on Christmas Eve, kids asleep upstairs. Rebecca never showed for her custody time. Craig apparently invited her to Aspen, bourbon in hand, finally at peace. The house is quiet. No drama, no gaslighting, no threats. My phone buzzed earlier. Text from an unknown number. Daniel, it's Rebecca. Using friend's phone. Made huge mistake. Can we talk about reconciliation? I deleted it and blocked the number. Some bridges aren't meant to be rebuilt. They're meant to stay burned. A reminder of the roads you should never travel again. To anyone reading this in a similar situation, document everything. Trust your gut. Don't let anyone manipulate you into accepting less than you deserve. And if someone hands you written evidence of their betrayal, frame it. You might need it later. Merry Christmas, Reddit. May your holidays be drama-free and your divorces be well documented. Edit. No, I won't share the actual document. My lawyer says it's evidence in Alina's ongoing case, but trust me, it's even more ridiculous than I've described. Edit 2. To everyone asking. Yes, the kids are in therapy. They're doing well. Kids are resilient when you're honest, age appropriately, and consistent. Edit 3. Rebecca's sister reached out. Apparently, Rebecca spent Christmas Eve alone because Craig went to Aspen with his actual girlfriend. The journey of self-discovery continues, I guess.